around the same time that like the Sports Hub debuted. Like the Sports Hub was the sports station that was trying to be super edgy so that they could beat out WEEI, and because they didn't have the Red Sox broadcasting rights, they were super anti-Red Sox. So and it's 100% true. Like that's what they were doing. But when you're developing this relationship with Beckett, was it something that you noticed his work ethic and wanted to latch on to that and not necessarily copy it, but follow it? Or was that something that like Tito was like, hey, like that's the guy, like watch what he does? Like, how did your relationship with Beckett begin?
So in '06 was my first big league camp. And you always have a meeting with the manager and the general manager and all those guys to kind of go over game plan for the year for you. And Tito calls me in, and I'm about halfway through my meeting, and here comes Josh, and he sits down right next to me. And, I'd met him and whatnot. And I think probably Josh wasn't too happy about it. He's 20 something, been around the league a long time. And, not the greatest first impression personality per se. But Tito looks at me and he looks at Josh and he goes, hey, whatever he does, you do. So if he's throwing a bullpen, you throw a bullpen. If he's doing this, if he's lifting upper body, you do that. So anyway, we got on the same program from that day forward. And we literally, from that day till the last day, we were catch partners. We did our workouts together. He was in my bullpen, I was in his bullpen, every time. So it was a pretty cool relationship. Like I said, I'm sure he didn't love it at first, but, I got a really good friend for life out of it. And I got to learn a lot, man. Like he is a very knowledgeable guy when it comes to baseball and just the life, man. Like it was a privilege to be his teammate. And then obviously, becoming his friend is just kind of an added bonus to it.
Yeah. Not to give him too much credit, but like obviously you have to give yourself some credit for, or most of the credit for the, I guess, resume that you've put together throughout your career. But having a dude come in that's like, yeah, like I pitched in the World Series and I beat the Yankees in the World Series, and you're learning from that guy. And you've obviously had a ton of regular season success, but where you built your legend was in the postseason. Like you were unbeatable in the postseason. How much did you tap into his brain when you're experiencing for the first time the postseason, winning a championship, and then going from kind of like, hey, it's nice to have Lester come back and like he's going to contribute a little bit here, to it by the time 2013 rolls around, like this is our guy, like this is our bulldog, like 2008, like you're the guy going alongside with Beckett, where it's like this is like we've got two aces here, he's a bulldog. And like how much did you tap into Beckett's mentality in the postseason?
Yeah, I don't know so much on the mentality side, but it was definitely, which I guess it is the mentality side, but it was definitely like the routine, the routine oriented. We're very similar in that aspect of things. Like we always fall back on, okay, what do I have to do today to prepare myself for not only tomorrow, but my start? And I saw that firsthand, how he really honed in on that. So, the day after was this, the day after that was this, and so forth. So when he got into the start, it was like, all right, I'm ready. Like now I just have to worry about who's up and what am I trying to do to get him out? You're not worried about, am I physically ready? Am I mentally, like you're prepared, you're ready to go. So I think that was the beginning of it. And then I think postseason, man, like part of it is getting the experience, right? Like you need to be in it to experience it. And I feel like I fell into perfect scenarios for myself to succeed and build confidence. I don't want to say got thrown into a game, but it was game 2, I believe, at Fenway, and we went into extras, and I was the last guy. This was '07, and I was the last guy in the bullpen. And something happened, and I got in. I gave up a 3-run homer to Franklin Gutierrez, and I remember, gosh dang, I just lost that game for us, and you go in the clubhouse and everybody's patting on your back and whatever. Well, I got another opportunity in game 4. Wakey went down, and I pitched like 3 or 4. I finished the game. I gave up 1 hit, no runs, but it was like a no-lose situation for me, right? Like, I'm just here to pitch, and I succeeded. So now you build that confidence. And then you have a guy like Josh Beckett behind you going game 5. Like now, like you're building confidence, right? And you get to see him, and you see the routine, and then now you get thrown into a start, and you got a guy like that. And then you forget about Kurt. You forget about Schill, who's one of the greatest postseason pitchers of all time, and you see how he goes about it. And those guys just elude confidence, and that rubs off on you. And so when you have those situations, then game 4, like I got Beckett going game 5 behind me. He's the greatest pitcher in the world that year. And so I'm like, if I screw this up, the only thing I don't have to do, or I can't do, is screw our bullpen for game 5. Like if I go 2 innings, I really screw the team over, right? Like, so just try to get a little deep in the game. They get us a couple runs early, and then, obviously kind of everything took care of itself after that. But, just seeing, I think watching how calm he is, Schill's the same way, how calm they are out there, that just gives you that calmness and makes you believe that you can do it.
How much do you think winning a championship that early in your career changed you as a pitcher or as a player? Like, do you think it made you hungrier to get the next one? Because having won 3 and being we'll get to the Cubs part, being a vital piece of that Cubs championship, it just seems like you wanted to win a World Series every single year, whereas some guys are like, all right, well, the chase is over. I got mine, and that part of my legacy is cemented.
Yeah, I think so. My whole thing with 07 is I never really felt like I was in it, like I was in the dogfight from day one. And, I had some other stuff going on, obviously, and was up and down, but I think it was nice, like, okay, yeah, I've been a part of one. I've had that, we were talking about experience. Like I have that experience in this now. But my thing with it is like, I want to be a part of this from day one of spring training. I don't want to be up and down at AAA. I didn't care so much about who started game 1 or anything like that. I just wanted to be one of the dudes in the room from day one to game whatever, and we're jumping on each other, having, celebrating. Obviously that took a while to do again, but 07 for me was very special because of, coming back from cancer and all that. But 13 for me was even more because like I was depended upon to be the dude, like I pitched game 1, I pitched game 5, I pitched game 1, I pitched game 5, so it's like they needed me to succeed and they needed me to pitch well in order for us to get to that next step. And, 13 was just like a really, really big accomplishment, personally, just on that side of things.